Hi all, today's video is about basic beekeeping. So I'll show you today how we go through each single step and what we do. So to start with, the first thing you're going to do is put your bee suit on. So I've got mine one ready. I'll put my veil and the gloves on a bit later. Before that we'll prepare the smoker and I'll explain you why do beekeepers use a smoker. In my smoker I usually use a combination of different fuels. One of them is using cardboard from recycling. Cardboard is generally a slow burner, um, so it's quite ideal to have it in there because that will make your smoker alight for a long time. Then I add some shredded paper in there. So shredded paper is a fast burner. Then that's also mixed with some chipped wood, which is also medium, like slow to fast burning item. And I'm going to add some more shredded paper, some more chipped wood, and some more cardboard in there as well, and top it up with more paper in there. As you can see, my smoker is ready. The reason we beekeepers use these smokers is every time you see me going through the hive and when I blow smoke on the bees, you'll see them go inside further down in the hive. And the reason they do that is because when they sense smoke around them, they assume that there's a fire nearby, and the next steps they take is they'll go down in the hive, collect some honey and store it in their stomach in case there's a fire, so they can run away with some food in their stomach. What happens is after 5 to 10 minutes, when obviously there's no fire, they will just resume back to what they were normally doing. Doing so helps them to makes them distract from any you going through the hive, and helps you as well that you can inspect the hive very easily. So we've got our smoker ready, and I'm going to go through with you on the smaller hives so it's a bit more easy to explain, and explain you what we go through when we go through the hive inspection. To start with, make sure it's a clear day, it's not raining or it's not too windy, because that's not something bees like. When you go through the hives in a nice weather, they're not really bothered that you're going through their hive. So let's get started. It's fairly a small hive, I believe, because it's coming towards the end of the season. I might move them into a smaller box, so they're a bit more protected during the winter months. So this hive had this area quite empty. So let's assume that the hive colony is about between around this area. So in the middle, what you'll normally see is the nest area where there will be eggs being laid. Just around it will be the pollen, and the outside bits will be all the honey storage that they have. So this is the most outer frame that I've picked up. And you can see the bees are working on it. All you can see is like a bright white wax and bit on it. That's a sign that it's all honey in there. So all they're doing is just probably closing off the honey cells. To move on to the next frame, you can see the blue marker. Make sure that she's there. The bee with the blue mark on it, that's the queen bee that you can see. She's right in the middle, doing her job well. As you can see, there's a lot of capped brood on this frame. She's been doing her job quite well, laying her eggs. We'll gently put that one in there. To move on to the next frame. As you can see on this frame, all the capped cells that you see, that's what the queen has laid. And when the queen lays an egg, after 7 days, the bees will come and put a cap on it, and these eggs will hatch after 7 days, and these will come out. As you can see, all these empty cells. You can see some of the eggs in these cells in there. The white substance that you see, that's all larvae. Eventually, on the 7th day, the bees will come and cap them as well, and they will come out on the 7th day. Same goes for this frame as well. You can see loads of white dots in the middle of the cell. That's the larvae that the queen's been laying, and they're growing quite well. And then you can see the bees are busy around it. That's just a new frame. The bees are busy making some wax on that frame. As this colony is quite small, what I'll do is I'll move this into a smaller box. And I think that would be an ideal thing to do around this time of the year for them. One of the most important tasks here would be to make sure the queen comes along. As you can see, that blue mark there, that's a queen, and I'm going to move her in there. Make sure she's there. Frames I'm going to put on the sides would be the ones which are already drawn out, so they can store some honey in there for the winter months. Maybe that one there. And that one's got honey on it as well, so I'll use that one on the side. That's it. What I'm going to do is, if there are any bees in the hive, I'm just going to shake them off into the nuke. As you can see now that the colony is in much smaller box, what that will help is to help them protect themselves against any wasp attacks or any hornets that would attack the colony. That's one of the reasons that we do inspection every week. Like I showed you when I opened the hive, I tried to spot the queen. I found the queen in there. The second thing was to see if the queen's laying properly or not. So I saw the brood larvae being laid in all different stages, as I showed you in the video. Some of the brood was still You can see the white dots in the middle of the cell. Some were really small, some were really big, and some of them were completely capped. So I can see that the queen laying is also really good. Other than that, we also look for any disease or anything that's irregular. As that colony was quite small, if the colony is growing really big, what we do is we keep adding supers on top of that. I'll show you in the next hive. As you can see on this hive, as it's a very tall hive, so this hive also started the same way as you've seen the previous hive. The colony queen started laying too much that she was reaching the end frames, so gave the queen another box so she could start laying in about 24 frames. And once even that frame, both of those 24 frames, set of 24 frames looked quite full, I added a queen excluder in the middle. I'll show you that in a second. Then we start adding our super boxes, which will be pure honey that they will store. And I'll show you, we won't go through this section of the beehive at this time, but I'll show you what the supers look like and what the queen excluder does. As you can see from this hive, that's a queen excluder. What that does is that will stop the queen from coming up on the top frames. And what that will do is the worker bees come up and store only honey in there, so there'll be no eggs laid or any pollen stored in top frames. So you close this hive back up again. This is what my apiary currently looks like. So I've got one hive here that's got about 2 supers on there. Then I've got another hive here that's got 1, 2, 3, 4 supers and double brood, one colony in a nuke. And I've got another tall hive over here that's got 2 brood boxes, there's a queen excluder in the top, and then about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supers on that. And today is 27th of July. And we've got about 2 weeks before we'll extract all this honey out. Hope you like today's video. Let me know if any questions if you have in the comment section. Thank you very much.